Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Collar X Malice. On Chapter 0 here, we were just practicing at the gun range, and Psyche came in here to watch us practice because it relaxes him. So let's just finish up this little conversation we're having, and see what happens next. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. What happened all of a sudden? Compliments won't get you anywhere. Where did the usual carefree Psyche go? I was half joking to hide my embarrassment, but to that he responded with a somewhat sad smile. He's sad that he can't be one of the romance options. You've always been passionate about your training, but you started coming here often since the gun restrictions were lifted, right? Yeah. As expected from my classmate, even if I don't say much, he understands. It's true that since the change in gun control laws, I really started giving it my all during practice. You could say that it's because now civilians who lack both the resolve and qualifications needed to use them can now easily get their hands on guns. Because this world is now turning into a place where people like those men from before go around pointing guns at people partly for their own amusement.
Looking at you, you're still young, and as a police officer, I think it's inexcusable that you had to end up in such a situation. Still, you shouldn't deal with it by hurting others. These guns are meant to be used to protect yourselves, not as weapons.
Thinking back to Mochida-senpai's words, I once again felt the weight of the gun in my hands. This isn't something that should be used lightly. All these people, perplexed with the government's decisions, must be thinking the same thing. I'm sure there are people who hate just looking at the gun they had to be supplied with. But because they have it, it's possible they might use it at some point. And not just for self-defense, but to hurt someone. I don't understand what the people who decided it was a good idea to let just anyone use them were thinking. I prepared myself mentally to use a gun because I'm a police officer. I have to take that responsibility. I've worked hard for it too, and yet...
People who don't or can't possibly have that resolve now have their hands on a weapon that can kill anyone with a single pull of the trigger. I also think that's just not right. Those who can own and use a weapon are in a way the chosen ones. If anyone can use them, there won't be any order.
That's true. It doesn't matter if it's for self-defense. It's not right. Our superiors are washing their hands of this because it's the government that decided on getting rid of the gun control laws. An underling like me doesn't really have the right to say anything. But I can't agree with a society in which everyone gets to wave a weapon around on the street. Of course, I can't just stop at words. I have to keep training too, so that the civilians won't have to use their guns.
Right. I can't lose to you either. Though, well, I don't think I have a chance to win. You seem to have a natural talent for marksmanship.
Once he finished laughing cheerfully, Psyche stretched his back and began to leave. As I was following him with my eyes, he suddenly stopped and turned to me, an unreadable smile on his face.
Hey, Hoshino, say there's a criminal standing right before your eyes. If that happens, you're prepared to shoot, protect someone, right?
Yeah. Was that a hint? Was that foreshadowing? Is he really a bad guy? I could now answer this question without hesitation. After returning Psyche's smile, I turned around and picked up my gun again, and as if to demonstrate my resolve, pulled the trigger without a second thought. With this, my resolve was driven deep into the center of my heart. As I was walking back home from the station, the cold wind sent a shiver through my body. It's so cold. Though I was wearing a scarf and a thick coat, the weather didn't let anyone forget it was already December. With my breath turning white as I exhaled, I once again glanced over the street. This place has changed a lot too, huh? Shinjuku used to be full of people walking around, regardless of the time of day, but now, once it gets dark, the street's empty. And since you can't enter or leave the district, many companies and businesses have stopped functioning. Schools, shops, and public transportation still function normally, only because the government wants to keep up the pretense that nothing's wrong. Since you don't know where the criminals might be lurking, there's always a sense of danger around. It's hard to tell people not to be scared. Because of the quarantine, they can't meet with the people they want to see. On top of that, they don't know when they might get caught up in another incident. They know that at any moment, they or their loved ones might become the next victim, and despite that, they have to keep on living. I'm most likely not the only one who's now painfully aware of just how precious that normal everyday life was. When I hurriedly pulled my cell phone out, I saw Mochida-senpai's name displayed on the screen. Maybe there was something wrong with my report. While wondering what I'd do if he tells me to come back to fix it, I pushed the answer button. Hello? It's Hoshino.
Sorry for calling you after you've already left, but there's work to do. Seems like a fight has broken out in Shinjuku Garden.
Shinjuku Garden? Hearing the name of that place, most people would feel alarmed. It's where the victims of the August X-Day incident were killed, and where the terrorists struck fear into everyone's hearts. It should still be closed down, but...
Just based on that, it's possible it might be connected to the X-Day incidents. Most of the guys on Koban duty are already taking care of another incident, so we were called in as support.
Got it. I'll head there straight away.
We don't know who we're dealing with, so just stand by until I get there, okay?
Understood. I won't act on my own. After hanging up, I quickly headed to Shinjuku Garden. Once I got there, I checked the surroundings, but... There's nobody here? Don't let down your guard. The surrounding area was dimly lit, so I couldn't see well. Then how can you say there's no one there? They could be hiding. Even if somebody was here, I wouldn't notice them straight away. Stay alert. Just in case, I took my gun out of its holster. Even though I always have it with me, and despite all my training, I still haven't used it in action. That's why, to be honest, I'm scared. But if I stood face to face with a murderer, I can't hesitate. Still paying attention to my surroundings, I cast a glance toward the locked park gates. Mochida-senpai isn't here yet, huh? Considering he's headed here from the station, it's taking a while. That sounds kind of suspicious to me. Am I being set up here? He might have gotten caught up in some trouble. While I was debating whether I should call him or not, I heard footsteps heading my way. Is it Mochida-senpai? Thinking that, I was just about to turn around. It felt as if someone pressed something into my hip. The next moment, a shock ran through my body, and sparks danced before my eyes. Didn't stay alert enough. Why? Why didn't we stay alert and turn around quickly? I opened my eyes slowly and blinked. Where am I? I'd say it's pretty obvious you're in a church. I was lying on my back. When I tried to get up, my body didn't move an inch. I was paralyzed. What is this? What's happening? I tried to move my head to at least get an idea of my surroundings. There's something here. I felt a strange pressure on my neck. I didn't know what it was, but I couldn't move my hands to check. No, why? Almost as if it was somebody else's body, not my own. Somehow I still managed to move my fingers little by little, and when I gingerly placed them on my neck. Is this a collar? Ah, the famous collar of the title of the game. At the cold touch of metal, I felt the blood drain from my face. Why do I have something like this? And what is this place? Glancing at the floor, I noticed that there were red petals scattered about. Red, like blood. I guess I can move a little. When I looked up, I saw moonlight filtering through the stained glass. Is this a church? That was my initial guess. A paralysis with an unknown cause. A color I've never seen before. Captivated by the otherworldly beauty of this sight, I forgot all about my fears for a moment. Have I seen the stained glass somewhere before?
It seems you have awakened, Miss Ichika Hoshino.
The voice was right next to me. It came from the collar.
You must be frightened, having been brought to such a place. However, I wanted to talk with you one-on-one, no matter what.
Who are you? Did you put this collar on me? Why would you...
I cannot answer these questions right now. With that said, one way or another, you will eventually reach us.
What do you mean?
As you are the chosen subject of our experiment, from now on until X Day, we shall observe your actions. Then, once you show us how you carry out your justice, I promise I will come to meet you in person.
What is your aim? What do you mean, subject of your experiment? What are you trying to do to me?
Be quiet. If not, you will die. We've injected a lethal dose of poison into the collar on your neck.
Poison?
However, the poison that is currently affecting your body is slow-acting. After all, it would be troublesome if you died here.
So, what they're saying is that they're not trying to kill me, they just wanted to make it so I couldn't move. I have absolutely no clue what their aim might be. I didn't understand anything, and all I could feel was panic. But despite that, given my position as a police officer, I couldn't simply keep quiet, because the person on the other side of the collar mentioned X Day. I couldn't just let that remark slide. I have to try to get at least some information from them and report it.
Now I have to ask you not to mention this to the police. We also do not want any unnecessary trouble.
And what am I supposed to say about this collar? It doesn't seem like something they would want me wearing as a policewoman.
If you were to lose somebody close to you, you would be sad, would you not?
Yes, indeed I would. Although the only people I know of so far would be Saiki and Mochida. Though I'm sure there are others. And unfortunately, that's the end of our translation for the moment. But I can tell you now, the next episode is where we're going to meet 3 of our prospective romance options for this game. So you should be able to look forward to that. But at least in this episode, we got down to some of the suspense of the game. Now our life is officially in danger, and we're involved in the X-Day incidents personally. So the cards are being dealt as we speak. So hope to see you in the next episode. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.